Good morning, everyone. This is Jaeyoung Cho, and I'm the director of Youth Growth Institute. Today, researchers of our institute will give a presentation about exercise and bone mineral accrual in children and adolescents. These are our contents. First, I'll give you a brief introduction about our topic, and then we have divided into two stages of growth, which are pre-puberty and puberty adolescence. And then we'll close up this presentation with conclusion. Before we go into prepubertal stage, I'll give you a brief explanation about osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is a skeletal disorder characterized by low bone mass and microarchitectural deterioration of bone tissue with the consequent increase in fragility and susceptibility to fracture. Figures suggest that 1 in 3 women and 1 in 5 men will experience an osteoporotic fracture sometime in their lifetime. These figures are set to rise exponentially within 50 years as the population ages. Thus, there needs to be a large emphasis on preventative measures to combat or offset this rise in osteoporosis and fracture. This presentation will address the role of physical activity and exercise in promoting peak bone mass in boys and girls in two maturational categories, namely pre-puberty and puberty adolescence. And now, in pre-puberty stage, researcher Han and Ryu will continue the presentation.
This is Ryu. Now I will be giving you a presentation about previous experiments on pre-puberty. Sport participation during growth has been shown to increase bone mineral density in the weight-loaded limbs of activity subjects by 10 to 20%, which is greater if the exercise precedes prepubertal growth. A study Bradley looked at moderate exercise during growth and assessed change in area BMD over an 8-month games program in prepubertal boys. The study reported volumetric BMD increase, suggesting that the increases in bone mass were greater than the increases in body size due to growth, and thus the growing skeleton was responsive to moderate exercise. Bradley used after-school clubs for the exercise intensity, but two later studies in 2006 assessed the effect of moderate exercise on bone mass in children using school curriculum-based exercise program. Bardi Marson assessed whether a general moderate exercise program within a school could increase bone occur in girls over a 1-year period. They reported positive effect on bone accretion at the lumbar spine. However, caution needs to be taken with this result as the study were not randomized at the start, increasing the risk of selection bias. The intensity of the exercise undertaken was not assessed directly, and there was a high dropout in the second year in the control group. McKelvey in 2001 and 2002 conducted similar studies, looking at school-based exercise intervention. The 2002 study showed a significant effect of the school-based jumping program on bone mineral change in the total body and proximal femur in boys. Although the bone effect was small for the boys' intervention, body mass index at baseline was significantly related to bone mineral accrual and may have played a role in damping the effect of the jumping intervention. There was no gain in bone mineral change in the total body. And proximal femur in boys. Although the bone effect was small for the boys' intervention, body mass index at baseline was significantly related to bone mineral accrual and may have played a role in dampening the effect of the jumping intervention. There was no gain in bone mineral in girls over the same time period. This result suggests the sex as well as site-specific effect of moderate exercise on bone mineral occur. Thank you.
This is Yeun-han, and I will continue the presentation. The previous studies were completed in short periods of time for bone remodeling. McKelvey and other researchers completed to compare changes in proximal femur BMC in exercisers compared to controls over a longer 20 months randomized controlled trial of exercise in prepubertal boys. However, there was no significant change in BMC at the total body, proximal femur or lumbar spine in boys. The only scatter site to respond to the exercise intervention was the femoral neck. Even though there was an imbalance between the maturity stage in the exercise and control group, this study suggests that minimal changes to the physical education curriculum can influence bone accrual at the specific scatter sites. Another long-duration study was undertaken by Lane, who assessed the effects of recreational gymnastic training on BMA in 4 to 8 years old girls. These girls has no history of athletic participation prior to the study, and those in the exercise group reported a greater rate of increase in lumbar spine ABMD compared to the controls. This increase was only seen at the lumbar spine, with other sides increasing equally between the exercisers and controls. As this trial shows that moderate exercise loading is beneficial in prepubertal boys and girls. The question arises though that if moderate exercise has beneficial effects on bone mineral accrual, would high-intensity exercise have additional positive effects on bone mineral accretion? McKay conducted a study in boys and girls to assess whether school physical education could be modified to augment BMD. The study introduced high-intensity exercises into the curriculum, such as tuck jump, skipping, and hopping for 8 months, and found a 4.4 increase in trochanteric bone mineral density. This study found that uneasily implemented school-based jumping intervention augments ABMD. A similar study assessing the effects of a high-intensity jumping intervention on hip and lumbar spine BMC in girls and boys over a period of 7 months. The prescribed high-impact jumping exercise called GRF, which is ground reaction force of 8.8 times body weight, and produced increase in BMC at the lumbar spine and femoral neck. Thus, they provide convincing evidence that prepubertal boys and girls are able to participate in rigorous exercise programs and appear to respond positively to this through prepubertal girls. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation, researcher Yeun-han. And now, researcher Rowan Park will give their presentation about their research of puberty stage.
This is Sung Park. I'm going to talk about pubertal growth. The adolescent growth stage can be defined as the 2 or 3 years period of rapid increase in height and weight related to the change in activity of the hypothalamus. Testosterone, which is growth hormone, insulin-like growth factor 1, increased during the pubertal period, enhancing bone growth and turnover through osteoblastic stimulation. Estrogen production is low adolescent girls, which makes their bones more responsive to exercise loading and increase their size. Brinke performed a prospective study on resident training in adolescent girls to determine the effect of 26 weeks of progressive resident training on the total body or lumbar spine, BMC, and BMD. No change in lumbar spine or total body bone mineral after 26 weeks of training were reported. However, the girls' enthusiasm for the exercise intervention decreased during the latter part of study, resulting in poor compliance. This may therefore explain the lack of significant results from this study. Whiskey and Snow also conducted a resident intervention in girls during adolescence and reported no significant result. Trends were seen toward increase in BMC at the total body, femoral neck, femoral shape, greater trochanter, and lumbar spine, but the control groups also reported such changes. The also group concluded that these trends may suggest a longer training period was required to see significant result. McCabe conducted a 7-month jumping and circuit exercise intervention in early adolescent girls and found that the girls gained significantly more bone at the femoral leg and lumbar spine than mature matched controls. This study was the first to suggest that exercise for girls at 10.5 years and older provides a window of opportunity for exercise-induced bone gain. Fred conducted a study looking into exercise in adolescent girls and found that femoral neck, BMD, and increased by 2.6% and 1.7% respectively. The bone adaptation was at this site only and those site specific, which agrees with the finding of McCabe. McCabe conducted a jumping intervention over a longer period of time and found 5% increase in bone mineral occurred in girls. At the school randomized to the exercise intervention compared to those girls in control school. This study was an extension of the McCabe study with a 20 months result indicating accumulation of bone, with the bone mineral occurred in those girls in the exercise group numbering from 7 to 20 months. Kiwan will continue with bone effect.
Hi, this is Kiwan Roh. I will continue with bone effect. Such a bone effect is also seen for exercises performed for very short duration throughout the day and a very low GRF. Iliano Burns ETR conducted a study in girls aged 8.8 years using low moderate impact exercises such as skipping, hopping, jumping, and reported a 7.1% increase in femoral neck BMC. McKay ETR conducted a study into girls and boys aged 10.1 years who were randomized to a novel intervention called bounce at the bell. This intervention only took the children 3 minutes and 5 times a day to complete, but still resulted in 2% increase in proximal femoral BMC and a 27% increase in procentric BMC. These studies indicate that the exercise intervention can be of low intensity and short in duration, but still provide an osteogenic response in girls and boys during early puberty. STEER-ETR conducted a study investigating the effect of exercise to music on BMC in girls aged 17.3 years. The study was conducted over 50.5 months and reported significant improvements in BMC at the total body, lumbar spine, and hip regions. These findings were supported in another dance intervention study. Matthews ETR assessed whether in a non-athletic population, ballet dancing over 3 years promoted bone mineral growth. The girls aged 8 to 11 years all experienced increases in BMC at the total body, lumbar spine, and femoral neck size. The strength of these studies is that they are longitudinal in nature. However, the exact amount and type of dancing each girl took part in were not controlled, and those a variety of dance regimes may have been actively take part in. So the exact exercise loading cannot be quantified. Exercise intervention programs aim at increasing bone mass or strength in pubertal or adolescent children have involved diverse activities of moderate to high impact, such as jumping or running. The majority of trials have reported positive skeletal effects from the exercise intervention, the magnitude of which varies according to the skeletal size measured. The evidence suggests that only puberty may be particularly optimal for bone adaptation to loading. Reasons for why this may be an opportune period for bone adaptation to exercise may be due to the velocity of bone growth and the endocrine changes at this age. It has been estimated that around 30% of total body bone mass is accrued during this time. However, which the evidence suggests that a window of opportunity exists in children at this pubertal stage. The studies to date are of insufficient number to arrive at a definite conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you, Park and Ro. And now, Dr. Sung will present about his researches of studies in bone mineral accrual.
Thank you, Joe. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Sung, and I'm going to present about studies spanning pubertal stages. Bailey reported the result of the 6th year in the University of Pediatric Bone Mineral Accrual study. This study followed boys and girls for a period of 6 years to evaluate the relationship between everyday physical activity and peak bone mineral accrual in children passing through adolescence. The study demonstrated a greater peak bone mineral accrual rate and a greater bone mineral accumulation for 2 years around the peak growth spurt for children in the highest quartile of physical activity compared to the children in the lowest quartile of physical activity. The effect was site-specific and in the range of 9% for boys and 70% for girls. Sundberg was completed a long-term study over 4 years and aimed to determine if an increase of moderate exercise in the school curriculum would have enabling effects on bone. The study reported positive effects on an ABMD and BMC at the total body, lumbar spine, and femoral neck regions, the weight-related sites. However, this effect was only significant in boys. In addition, the boys' effect was stronger at 4 years than at 3 years. Lastly, Heinonen conducted a study over 9 months in growing girls to assess high-impact exercise. The study found that in the growing girls, the benefit of mechanical loading was only present before rather than after menarche. It showed that clear and large additional bone gain could be obtained in exercising pre-menarche girls, but not in exercising post-menarche girls. It suggests that exercise is more beneficial to bone during the growth spurt. Pediatric bone gain associated with any intervention must be long-lasting if it is to influence adult risk of osteoporotic fracture. In adults, it seems quite clear that beneficial effects on bone observed when an exercise program is initiated are lost during the training. But whether this also occurs in response to exercise undertaken during growth is unclear. As bone can substantially change its shape during growth via the process of modeling, it is not inconceivable that long-term benefits from childhood activity are realized. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sung. The studies to date have involved a variety of maturity groups and span from 6.5 years to 6 years. Although there has been a number of limitations to the studies, the data to date show that exercise is beneficial to bone mineral growth throughout growth. Moderate exercise is beneficial for prepubertal boys, and also for moderate exercise could be beneficial, but only if the girls do not have a prior history of loading, and the benefits would be site-specific. High-intensity exercise are both beneficial for boys and girls in pre-puberty. In puberty stage, jumping interventions utilizing a range of GRF may promote bone mineral growth in girls and boys, particularly in girls over 10.5 years and around the 2 years growth spurt. And this concludes our presentation. Thanks everyone for listening.